This is the Miller Lite Cowboys Hour, supported by Albertsons and broadcasting live from Sidecar Social at the Star in Frisco. Brought to you by Miller Lite, the only beer of the Cowboys. Tastes like Miller time. Albertsons and Tom Thumb, the official supermarket and pharmacy of the Dallas Cowboys. Blue KC, the official bootmaker of the Dallas Cowboys. Blockchain.com, make your crypto play today. Buffalo Wild Wings. If it's game day, Buffalo Wild Wings is the place to be. Altec Lansing. Just listen with Altec Lansing, perfecting sound since 1927. And by Omni. Omni Hotels and Resorts, the official hotel of the Dallas Cowboys.
It's Victory Monday!
Now, your hosts, Nicole Hutchison and Brad Chan.
Welcome, everybody. Welcome. Merry Christmas. Happy Hanukkah. Happy Victory Monday.
Yeah. Come on,
Wow,
Brad.
look at this. What a great, we have the biggest crowd of the year here at Sidecar Social on Victory Monday or any other Monday. And that could be because it's the Christmas season and the Star District is just dressed up so beautifully, and it's fun to be there. And the food and drinks are great, and the TV screens are plentiful. Could be that. It could be because it's Victory Monday.
Yeah.
I like the energy.
Yeah.
I like the energy a lot.
Or it could be because our special guest tonight is Cowboys offensive lineman Brock Hoffman. Maybe that's the reason.
Yeah.
I think. Oh, hold on a minute. Maybe it's because our guest tonight is Brock Hoffman.
Oh.
Boy, that was.
No, we got to try that again.
That was
You gotta
weaker
do it
the
one more
second
time.
time. Brock Hoffman.
Yeah.
Holy cow! Thanks for coming out.
I appreciate you having
being
me.
here. You
Yeah.
bet. And we do seriously have the best crowd we've had all year at Sidecar Social. And whatever the reason you're here, we're deeply grateful to you being here and sharing the hour with us. And as always, we welcome all of you listening on the Dallas Cowboys Radio Network, wherever that might be. And those of you watching and listening, streaming, whenever you're doing that on DallasCowboys.com. Hi, how you doing? Thanks for joining us. So did we mention it's Victory Monday? The Victory Monday Club is here.
Go.
It's easy to get used to these things again. And Brock Hoffman is just like the people's choice right now. I feel like you are everybody's favorite lineman at the very least. And the people who don't know your story, we wanted to have you out here so that they can get to know who Brock Hoffman is more than just a name and a number.
Right.
Because it's a great story. And I have a feeling we haven't heard the last of you. So, and you've worked hard
Yes, sir.
to put yourself in that position. But let's pull the lens back a little and start with a wider view. Why is the offense seemingly functioning so much more smoothly than it did the first 3 or 4 weeks of the year?
Yeah, I feel like when you go through that tough stretch in that middle road of the season, right, where we lost all those games in a row, and then we had some injuries go down. And when I came in for that Washington game, I looked at the guys and I was like, at this point in the season, like, we really have nothing to lose. Obviously we weren't eliminated from the playoffs at that time, but, our record wasn't good. We were kind of struggling. I was like, guys, like, let's just be free, play fast. Like, we have nothing to lose. Like, if you make a mistake, who cares? I mean, we've already lost so many games at this point. It's like, let's just move on and play each play and take it for what it is and enjoy every moment. And I feel like as a unit, offensive line-wise, that's what our mindset has, and I feel like that's kind of seeped over into the offense and kind of seeped over into the team,
You're young as a group in the line, and even younger since Zach Martin got hurt and went out. And the way coaches make it sound is that this is just especially for Cooper Beebe and Tyler Guyton. This is just natural growing pains, and then when you get all the moving pieces in the different fronts that you see and people have to change, and that some discomfort is to be expected. That's one side of the coin. The other side is last year, before the bye, the record was better, but the offense was still struggling. People weren't happy that things weren't in sync, and the same thing was going on this year. So I'm wondering why that is, and then how long did it take this group, even before Zach got hurt and after he had to leave, how long did it take this group of O-linemen to really kind of feel on the same page?
Yeah, I feel like, obviously at the end of the last season we lost some guys, right, to free agency and whatnot. And then, you have 2 young guys starting, so it's obviously it is a lot of growing pains in that regard, because as an offensive lineman, like in the NFL, obviously the dudes on the defensive side of the ball are monsters, right? And you see all these different fronts, different schemes, and you just haven't seen a lot of pro ball yet at that level. So I feel like it just took some time for us to gel as a unit. And then when the guys went down, me and TJ have always kind of prided ourselves on being ready whenever our number's called, and just whenever it's there, our opportunity's there to make the most of it. And I feel like it really hit that stretch where we started playing free is when we really started to come together as a unit, no matter who was in there. Even before Zach went down, I felt like the guys were starting to play better, and it was just kind of slowly building up as the season went on. Obviously, the record wasn't showing, but I felt like the offensive line was definitely taking steps each week.
When you have guys going down, Zach Martin out, and having to play different positions on the offensive line, it kind of messes with the cohesion a little bit, the chemistry a little bit. What's the biggest challenge in having to overcome that?
Yeah, I think when you got guys moving around different places, honestly, it's little simple stuff, like whether it's footwork or communication, how guys see different things. People may think it's easy to move from center to guard, but it's really not. It's a different perspective, and same thing moving back from guard to center and different things like that. So I think it's really the communication side of it, and then, little details in terms of footwork and technique, as each position has its own different set of skills, I guess you would say.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, because it was not surprising. First of all, if I didn't know better, I would think Mike McCarthy's your uncle. The way he raves about your intelligence and your ability to command things and your attitude, so you've been playing right guard. Now Cooper gets a concussion. You slide over. It's a completely different set of assignments. And now he's back, and that's fine. I'll just move back over here. What was the challenge in that for you?
Yeah, I mean, just like I said, really built when you play at one position for a consistent amount of time, where I was for, 3 or 4 weeks, definitely you build that comfortability in terms of, taking a set at right guard as compared to taking a set at center, you know what I mean? So it's just little things like that are definitely challenges throughout the week. But, I've always, once I wasn't going to be the starting center at the beginning of the year, I started working left guard, right guard, and I've played in games at both, right? So it's just always about trying to stay ready as much as you can, to where when your number's called, just you got to go out and do your thing.
Do you prefer to play center or guard?
I don't really have a preference. I was definitely getting comfortable at guard, though, during that little 3 or 4 week stretch. I felt like I was playing pretty good there. I felt like we were rolling as an offensive line.
And also, obviously, makes you more valuable too, because when you play more positions, you're able to get more play.
100%.
Pretty dope.
100%.
I actually asked Mike on his pregame show yesterday if once I knew that Cooper was coming back and you were sliding back over, if he'd given any glimmer. He loves these questions, and especially on game day. I'm lucky he didn't hit me. I said, Brock's been doing such a good job at center. He has done, and you've raved about him, and some people think it's your natural position. I don't know what you think, but did you give any thought to just leaving Brock at center and sliding Cooper over to right guard, even though he hasn't done that since training camp? And the answer was no. Not at this point. But do you guys think about, you and Cooper and TJ Bass, and I'm not excluding Tyler Smith or the tackles, but you 3 guys are so young and you're kind of growing up together as pro football players. Do you talk about what the future might look like? And, Zach's at a stage in his career, who knows what's going to be in his future. Do talk amongst yourselves about what could happen?
I wouldn't say we talk about it too much. I think for us at this point, really these last like 4 or 5 weeks, it's just been like really just taking it day by day and week by week and just seeing how many wins we could get. And, even more so now that we've kind of been – or that we're eliminated from the playoffs, it's just how many wins can we finish out this season with. So, we haven't really talked about it too much in terms of the future.
I'm glad you touched on that because I don't know, are you online much? Do you look at stuff online?
Here
on
and
social
there,
media?
a little bit. Not too much in the season.
Okay. There's been a lot of, what the hell? Why are they, working so hard when they got eliminated and now you should do this and do that? And it seems like the public, the non-playing public, does not understand what you guys determined to do just to go win a game. What it takes, and so were you surprised at all after Washington won yesterday afternoon that you guys played as hard and as well as you did last night?
Not really. Honestly, I feel like the culture in our locker room is really strong, and I feel like guys have a lot of pride, and nobody's just going to go out there on a football field on a Sunday or Monday night whenever we're playing and just lay down for somebody. And I feel like that really comes from, Mike McCarthy and our coaching staff instilling that culture, and then us taking it over in that locker room and just having pride and playing for the love of our brothers and that brotherhood in that locker room. And there was no way I truly didn't believe that our team was going to go out there and lay down.
All right, we got to take our first break. When we come back, you're seeing and hearing nice, quiet, mild-mannered, polite, gentlemanly Brock Hoffman. That's not the picture that we always get of the Brock Hoffman who's in the huddle and to the end of the whistle. And we really want you to get to know Brock. He's got a fascinating story, his journey to get to where he is and where he's going. We're on the Cowboys Hour at Sidecar Social at the Star District in Frisco with the Cowboys' Brock Hoffman and Nicole. Who helps bring us this fine program?
Albertsons. When it comes time to shop for tailgate favorites, go to Albertsons and Tom Thumb. Get 10% off your groceries every Dallas Cowboys game day when you wear your Cowboys jersey. Albertsons and Tom Thumb, the official supermarket and pharmacy of the Dallas Cowboys.
We'll be right back with Brock Hoffman on the Cowboys Hour.
Back to the Miller Lite Cowboys Hour, supported by Albertsons and broadcasting live from Sidecar Social at the Star in Frisco.
Welcome back. Brad Sham and Nicole Hutchinson with our very special guest, Cowboys offensive lineman Brock Hoffman. Okay, it's time now to get to know Brock Hoffman. It's time for This Is Your Life, Brock Hoffman. You're too young to remember that show. So, North Carolina boy.
Yep.
Went to Coastal Carolina. And transferred to Virginia Tech because your mother was having health problems.
Yep.
She's doing okay
Yes,
now.
sir. Yes,
Okay.
sir.
And that wasn't that many years ago, right?
Right.
So tell us about that. It's a difficult, what were you, 21, 22 at the time?
No, I was 18 when she first got diagnosed.
When she first got diagnosed.
Yeah.
And how, so after 2 years at Coastal, how old were you?
Right around, I was about to turn 20.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and this is when you decide you need to move to Virginia Tech to be closer to where she is. That's a lot. That's a lot for a young man. Do you mind talking a little bit about how that affected you, how you reached all of those decisions?
Yeah, so back in 2017, my mom was diagnosed with an acoustic neuroma, which is a non-cancerous brain tumor that had been growing on her brain for a couple of years. And, once she got the diagnosis, we knew that she was going to have a major surgery. It was going to end up being about 18 hours. And then that surgery we knew was going to leave her with complications, so she was going to have a couple other ones.
What time of year was this?
I found out. So I early enrolled out of high school, so I found out after that spring. So January of 17.
Okay, so not in the middle of a season.
No. So January of 17. She went through that whole process, got the surgery, went back home to see her, and then after she got the surgery, she dealt with like facial paralysis. So basically, half her face had dropped. Her eyelid wasn't working, different things like that. So she had to have surgery. Basically, they ended up cutting her neck open. Not to get too vulgar but descriptive, but basically they ended up having to cut her neck open to deal with like her nerves and different things like that. And then they had to have surgery on her eyelid, definitely to just get her eyelid back working and different things. Different complications that she was dealing with, right? So that was back in 2017, and that kind of lasted until 2018. And then I officially made the decision to transfer after my sophomore season at Coastal, because at the time, my younger sister couldn't drive, and my older sister was in college. My dad was traveling a lot for work, so she had to definitely do a bunch of different check-ins and checkups, doctor's appointments and whatnot. And so I decided to enter the transfer portal and was trying to go back home to North Carolina, somewhere closer. And, because Coastal was about 4 hours from my hometown, so definitely trying to get somewhere closer. And VT was right around 2, so it made it a lot easier to get back and forth.
I don't know how mature a teenager you were, but that kind of thing will grow you up pretty fast, won't it?
Yeah, it definitely makes you never take anything for granted, and definitely value, your loved ones in the family that are always there to support you, because you never know when someone could leave this planet. And
at that young an age, did it also inform the way you looked at being present, being in the moment, enjoying and making the best, taking advantage of every opportunity you had, even at your young age?
100%. I always remembered when my mom was going through all those surgeries. I remember before my games at Coastal, I'd always, treat this game like this is the last game your mom will ever see, in terms of just go out there and give it everything you got, and really, make her and the rest of my family proud.
Something that I've learned about you is obviously family is so important to you. How much did that fuel you in terms of just being successful in this game to help out your family?
Yeah, I mean, it means a lot. I've always, been a family guy and really family oriented in terms of just, having great appreciation, right? I've always had a big family. My dad has a bunch of brothers. My mom has a sister, and we've always just kind of been a close-knit family in terms of that. And it's really just taking pride in that last name and really putting on for them and for, the city that I come from.
How did you manage that time? I mean, obviously it's very difficult during that time for you. How'd you manage?
Yeah, I think back on it now. I was a little young and really just kind of threw myself into ball and tried to talk to my family here and there as much as I could, and then take care of and go back home and take care of my mom when she needed. But it was really just throw myself into ball, and obviously my beautiful fiance that's in the crowd tonight definitely was a big part of that as well.
So we've established, thank goodness, your mom's okay now, and which now will let us go back a couple of days to reporters talking to you in the locker room about the reputation that you've earned, which the coaching staff has done nothing to dissuade. That this Brock Hoffman will play right through the echo of the whistle, and by your own admission, you don't mind mixing it up a little bit. You'll have a little conversation with a guy across the line from you from time to time. Yeah,
for sure.
So this led to you're talking about how your mother called you soft, so we were talking about that before we went on the air. So tell us that story. How old were you when that happened?
Yeah, I think I was in 4th grade, and so my dad coached college ball when I was younger, and then he got out of the game when he started having me and my younger sister because he had 3 kids. So when I got old enough, he started coaching me in elementary school. So he coached me from 3rd to 6th grade, and then after the 4th grade football season, basically in my county, my dad was in charge of basically pulling the best players from each elementary school, and we were going to build like this little all-star team and go play in this tournament down in South Carolina. And I'll never forget, I was out in the front yard, and my dad had already kind of put the roster together, and my mom had told me.
I'm sorry, you're how old?
I was in 4th grade.
4th grade, okay. So you'd like 10, 11, something like that?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
I'll never forget. My mom looked at me and was like, "Only reason you're on the roster is because your dad's the coach, because you play like a, and she called me soft, basically, is what she did. But, it was it definitely changed me from then on. I told myself I was never going to play the game soft.
So before we went on the air, I asked Brock 2 questions, which I will now repeat. And one is your mother a football fan? Does she know what she's talking about when she critiques your football play?
100%. She's been around the game. She's damn near been around the game longer than I have, being with my dad.
And the next question was, when she said you were soft, was she right?
Yeah, she was right. At the time, I was definitely soft, but not anymore. Never again.
So you made sure that no one, let alone your mother, would ever be able to say anything like that.
Yep, 100%.
Go ahead.
What does she say now?
She tells me to tone it back a little bit. That's what she tells me to do.
I love that. So was there a time that you maybe overcompensated for that and tried to, no one's ever called you a dirty player, have they?
No, I don't think I've ever been called dirty. I've definitely pushed that line for sure. But, yeah, maybe a little bit in college. I had a year where I had about 6, 7 personal fouls, so it's okay.
That's a lot for an offensive lineman.
Yeah, it's a lot. A couple of them were like late hits on the quarterback and stuff like that. So I felt like I was defending my guy.
Oh, so you had to go take that for him. Yeah, well, that's part of the game.
Yeah.
So one of the things that I literally cannot have a conversation with a head coach about the offensive line, about you, where he's not talking about your intelligence. Mm-hmm. So here's something that would be interesting for you to know. Brock started all 12 games as a true freshman at Coastal Carolina, right?
Yep.
And started at center.
Yep.
As a true freshman.
Yep.
Dude. And then, by the way, as a sophomore, started 11 games at right guard.
Yep.
Did that come natural? Was there stuff that you had to learn to be able to apply your native intelligence to be football intelligent enough to? That's an important position.
Yeah, no, I definitely feel like when I got to Coastal, I had a really good coach in terms of technique, and he took, like I said, I early enrolled, so I spent that whole spring just really like learning the playbook and learning how to, be a college football player. So I definitely give a lot of credit to him, but I also say like with my dad and my upbringing, just being around football my whole life. And like I said, with him being a coach, just learning the different ins and outs of the game as a second, third, fourth grader, that young, just being around it. You really develop like a high-level football IQ even without kind of realizing it, because you're just involved in the game so much. So I would definitely say my dad played a big role in that, and definitely my coach at Coastal.
The technique's obviously different. So how long did it take you to adjust to playing different, the center and guard?
At Coastal when I first got there? Yeah, when I got there, we were running the triple option, so it had something I had never done out of the gun. So, yeah, I had never really run that before. So it was really just lean in your stance, run off the ball, and you're cutting second-level defenders and different things like that. So it was definitely a little bit of an adjustment because, in high school you're running spread and different things like that. But, you get to college, you're running the triple option. It's a different game for sure.
All right, well, now we've got you from Coastal to Virginia Tech, and now it's time to get Brock Hoffman through the beginning of his NFL journey, and we will do that when we come back. We are at Sidecar Social at the Star District in Frisco. Brad Sham and Nicole Hutchinson and Brock Hoffman, and we'll be back right after this.
Go Cowboys!
Back to the Miller Lite Cowboys Hour, supported by Albertsons and broadcasting live from Sidecar Social at the Star in Frisco.
Welcome back to the Cowboys Hour. It's Victory Monday. It's Christmas Victory Monday. Everybody into the eggnog already? Brad Sham and Nicole Hutchinson and our special guest, Cowboys offensive lineman Brock Hoffman. I hope everybody has heard that the time of the Cowboys game Sunday has changed. was going to be at 3:30 Central, 3:25 Central in Philadelphia. Now it's going to be a noon game, and TV reasons, and that's great because we get back 3 hours earlier.
Oh,
yeah. Everybody's happy about being back from Philly 3 hours earlier. So we've gotten Brock Hoffman through high school and college, and I'm guessing that with that football background, playing pro football was something that had been on your mind for quite a while.
For sure.
Since
For
age?
Sure. As early as I started playing,
Okay.
honestly. Yeah.
Okay. Do you watch the NFL when you grew up?
Yeah, I did.
Washington fan?
No, I was not actually. My dad was a huge Chiefs fan.
All right, that's okay.
And I wanted to root against him, basically. Just have a little father-son rivalry. So I just like the way Ray Lewis played the game.
Yeah.
So I always
Yeah,
grew
you
up a
would,
Baltimore fan.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Very good. All right. So now you're done at Virginia Tech, and you're not drafted.
Right.
Did you expect to be drafted?
Yeah, I mean, I definitely did. I definitely thought I could have got drafted in those later rounds for sure.
Do you have an agent telling you, yeah, you're going to go in the 5th round?
Yeah, my agent felt pretty confident I was going to be at least a day 3 pick. Probably in that later round, like 6th, 7th round. But we had talked about it. And we had a plan that if I was going to go undrafted, where our options could be and different things like that.
When you get to the 7th round, you'd almost rather be undrafted, wouldn't you? Because now it's up to you.
Yeah, and you kind of get to choose where you want to go and definitely put you in a better situation.
How many people were sniffing around after you?
I would say Dallas was definitely one of them too.
Were they?
Is crazy, yeah. I would say about 6 different teams: Miami, Cleveland, Dallas, Baltimore. I can't remember the other 2, but there was a couple that were calling me. Dallas definitely called me twice on draft day. But I was kind of at that point. I was pretty set in stone on going to Cleveland.
And why?
My agent had trusted, if I could go there, I could definitely get developed as a pro lineman playing for, Bill Callahan, who's a legend O-line coach that's
he's
been
a great
here.
one.
So yeah, no, I think he just trusted that, he had a good relationship with him and that he could develop me as a pro lineman.
So you're with them as a rookie free agent through camp, cut, signed to the practice squad.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing to me how players absorb that transition. Some guys, when they get cut, that's like, oh, crap, I'm done. I've been cut. I don't play anymore. But a lot of them understand, you sign on the practice squad and that's your app. Where were you?
Yeah, no, I remember on right after the Bears game, he's like, I don't know what's going to happen, but more than likely you'll probably end up back here on our practice squad, if not the active. So once I got cut and then they signed me back to P squad, it was still just about coming to work every day and just seeing what I could do to get better. And Cleveland at the time had a pretty good D line, so it was just good competition and good room for me to grow. I wasn't playing and I was just practicing, so I was going out there every day and taking practice and treating it like game days and really just trying to improve my game overall.
And by the way, just so people know, it's not what you want. What every player wants is to play. Mm-hmm. It's not a terrible job.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
it's
a fairly well-paying job.
Nah, definitely. Being an undrafted guy and getting cut, being on P squad is still more money than I made. Some of these guys making now in college. Like these guys in college are rolling in some big bucks, so maybe they think it's a downgrade. But no, back then definitely was still a nice life for sure.
You, like a lot of us, you came along a little too early, but that's all right. All right, so then you're released from Cleveland, and how did it come about that you finally came to Dallas?
Yeah, so I got released from Cleveland. Went home that day. Was definitely upset. It was middle of the season. Didn't really know what was going to happen.
23, yeah.
What?
Middle of the season 23.
22. Yeah. So middle of the season 22. Spent a day in Cleveland. And I just packed my stuff up and I just drove home. And I was home for like 4 days. And agent called me and was like, Dallas wants to fly you in for a workout in 2 days. So. I know you're still in shape and whatever because you've been on a team, but he was like, just go out there and do what you do and try to impress them. So that's pretty much how it worked out. It was a really quick turnaround. I was definitely very thankful I wasn't, home on the street for too long.
And so they didn't let you go.
Who?
I mean, Cowboys, you got here, you worked out, and they said, okay, stay.
Yep, yeah, I signed a P squad that day, and they had told me, like, the day I signed, I remember they had told me to, pick up the playbook as fast as you can because you'll probably be elevated here in the next couple weeks. So, which stood true. I was elevated for 3 games, and then wasn't for that last game of Washington, and then I got elevated for that San Fran playoff game.
What was your first thoughts when you got picked up for the Cowboys?
Man, I'm on America's team. It's kind of crazy for sure. But I was honestly just like super thankful after going through what I went through in Cleveland and being cut midseason. I was just thankful I was on a team and with an organization and have an opportunity to grow in my role for sure.
Did the Browns ever elevate you?
No.
So you came here, and they showed you they were serious about having you here by getting you into a few games.
Right.
And what did that do for your confidence and your sense of, yeah, I do belong here. I can play here.
Yeah, I always remembered my agent telling me, not every team's going to love you, but you just need one team to love you. And I've definitely been super thankful and blessed that, that Jerry Jones and the Dallas Cowboys obviously have given me a home here. And definitely when I got elevated at the back half of that rookie year, it just definitely built confidence in me and let me know that I can play ball at this level, and obviously I wasn't starting or anything, but I knew that if guys went down, that the team trusted to put me in.
It also helps too when you have guys like Zach Martin who believe in you. I remember you telling me that he's been a huge help in as far as keeping you locked in, focused. Dak Prescott spoken very highly of you as well. So what does that do for your confidence when you have guys like that believe in you?
Yeah, no, it means the world when you got guys that are looked at as superstars and guys that are going to be Hall of Famers one day that believe in you. I mean, you should have unlimited confidence after that.
Yeah. And am I remembering this right? Tyler Biadasz got hurt. You played center for a game.
In 23.
In 23.
Yeah, I started week 3 versus Arizona at center.
And then later in the year you played. Did Zach go out? And you played right guard.
Yeah. So Washington, the week 18 Washington week was crazy because Biadasz was sick all week.
Well, that's what it was. That's what I'm thinking.
So I was thinking I was going to start at center again, and then Biadasz was fine, but then Zach, like an hour before the game, had a big flu attack.
Oh, I remember. That's right. I remember that now.
So he couldn't play. So then I started at right guard that game.
So prepare for center, play right guard.
Yeah.
And I remember the reason that I brought it up is I remember Biadasz could not shut up about how well you played. You were tight. You and Tyler are tight. Right?
Oh, yeah, we're tight.
So he would not shut up about how well you played in that opportunity. So now people are starting to kind of pay attention a little bit.
Right.
Okay. I think we've got enough time for this. Introduce us to Duke Manyweather.
Yeah, no, I think Duke has definitely helped me out a lot this offseason in terms of training and just, different skill sets that you got to develop.
Let me interrupt you for a second. For those of you who don't know, Duke Manyweather is an independent offensive line coach. He really is very well thought of around the whole industry. Some people would call him a guru. And so and teams don't mind you working with him, right? They're happy.
No, I mean, there's about this offseason, there was probably 50 O-linemen from around the league that worked out with him. So it was different groups. Like in the morning, it was 6 a.m. was centers and then guards and then tackles, different things like that. So he definitely the nice thing about working with him is he separates us in groups by position. But what he did with us, because there was a bunch of Dallas Cowboys O-linemen working out with him,
he's here.
He's right across the street, I mean, so he kept us in our own little group, and we got to spend really good quality time in terms of working out and doing the extra things that you can't really do in the facility with the rules and whatnot with the CBA. So no, I mean, that time for us to develop was definitely huge, because even though we got through the season, we still think about all the time we spent together and how long it takes to really gel as a unit. things like that really take time that people don't really understand unless you're a O lineman in the NFL.
And that's the reason I'm bringing it up is people who followed what was going on in the offseason started to suddenly realize you are working your butt off with Duke. And apparently you don't work with Duke if you don't work your butt off, right?
Yeah.
And you were working really hard to get better so that when you came into 24, you were going to be a different player. You were going to be a much more prepared player. And I just think that's an important part of your story because it shows how much work you were willing to do on your own to get better.
Yeah.
And how did he specifically make you better?
Yeah, no, I think after 23, I got those 2 starts, and I felt like I played pretty well in those games, and that really, let me know, all right, you've done it. You've played in this league. You know you can do it. You got a whole offseason to make yourself as good as you can. And working with Duke, and then I worked with my guy Adam Malik down in Carrollton. He's my PT, so I was doing, lifting and position work with Duke, and I was doing physical therapy and my sprint work and mobility, different things like that with Adam. So it was really kind of a 2 a day, and then I was working with George Rincon boxing on the extra on the side work, 3 days a week. But yeah, no, I was doing a lot, but Duke really helped me in terms of just building that consistency in terms of sets, footwork, and different things like that to really going to OTAs and not really miss a beat in terms of that.
All right, we got to take our last break. I just wanted you guys to have a little clearer picture of how hard Brock Hoffman has worked to put himself in the position to take advantage of the opportunity that he's had this year. More to come, including some of your questions. We're on the Cowboys Hour at Sidecar Social of the Star District in Frisco. And did you think I forgot? Nicole's sitting here. She's got the sponsor rate up on her laptop.
I just have to.
And as she knows I haven't called for it yet, so I just look over, and with her thumb, she just kind of motioned to the screen like you thought I forgot.
Why did you have to do me like that?
Why did you have to do me like that? God. Who else is bringing us this fine program,
Luke
Nicole?
Casey, stand tall while you're tailgating or cheering in the stands with the Dallas Cowboys collection by Luke Casey. Shop the collection today, Luke Casey's 6 DFW locations, or online at LukeCasey.com. Luke Casey, the official boot of the Dallas Cowboys and the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders.
I don't forget all that much stuff yet. Give me a minute. We'll be back with Brock Hoffman in just a moment.
Go Cowboys!
Back to the Miller Lite Cowboys Hour, supported by Albertsons and broadcasting live from Sidecar Social at the Star in Frisco.
Welcome back, Sidecar Social, Cowboys Hour. Thanks for being here on Victory Monday, Christmas Victory Monday. Nicole and I will be back here next week on New Year's, hopefully, Victory Monday. What do we have, Scotty Goldnick? 2 shows left? This one and one more? Not a dry eye in the house. Delighted to have Brock Hoffman with us tonight. I don't know why I thought of this just during the break about that was a really physical game last night.
Yeah, it was. It was physical. It was ugly, but we got it done.
Well, the first half wasn't ugly. The second half doesn't necessarily have a frame around it for the offense, but that's all right. How close were you? Did you see the play where Turpin ran the ball and Vita Vea picked him up and just threw him down, and Turp just bounced right back up in his face? Did you see that?
Yeah, I did. I saw it on Twitter. Abby had shown me as I was walking in here, actually. So, yeah. I mean, Turp's small, but, I mean, he'll take the hits. He'll pop right back up. He's a dog for sure.
Vita Vea is not small.
Not at all. I mean, whatever he's listed at, you can go ahead and probably add another 40 to it. So he's pushing 4 bills for sure.
I mean, is he as good as he is big?
Yeah, I mean, he's good. I mean, for a guy that is that size and they're dropping him into coverage on third down, I mean, he's a freak athletically, right? So he's definitely a good player for sure.
How impressed were you with that play? I think it was the second half where they did drop him into coverage. How impressed were you with just the movement and his ability to move like that?
Well, see, they had done that at least twice before that last one where he made the tackle on Ferg. And I remember it's third down. I'm getting down to my stance, and I'm like, this dude's in a 2-point stance, like standing up, like off the ball. I'm like thinking, all right, he's either going to do 2 things. He's going to full tilt bull rush right now, or he's running a game. And he didn't do either of them. He dropped in the coverage. I'm like, dang, dude. Like, I mean, when you got a guy that's that big, that athletic, I mean, definitely is a special player for sure.
Let's buckle up because this is now about to take a turn.
Okay.
Because we're going to take some questions from the audience. Some of these people have been saving up. Okay, go ahead.
Good evening, Brock. My name's Rambo.
See what I mean?
You have a busy schedule, obviously. Do you ever get a chance to take time out of your schedule to go look at the very competitive high school talent that we have here in North Texas for high school football?
No, I've wanted to. I was going to go to a game this year, but I just never got around to it. But I definitely want to check some games out for sure. And hearing about Tyler Smith talking about his old, I'm pretty sure his old high school won the state championship. Right? Yeah,
he must be cock of the walk.
He's pretty pumped. But yeah, no, with schools like Prosper and Allen and all that, I definitely need to go check those kids out because there's definitely some high school ballers compared to when I was in high school.
Yeah, some of them probably about as big as you guys are now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Go ahead.
How you doing, Brock?
Good. How are you?
We all know that the mentality of an offensive lineman is down dirty. But with that said, how would Brock Hoffman teach a young Pop Warner offensive line how to have that mentality?
This is a great question.
That is a good question. I think if I was coaching a young kid, a Pop Warner kid, I would honestly focus on the fundamentals of the game early. And the mentality stuff, that comes along when you get older and you start developing and become more mature in the game. And, that's one of the things I'm super thankful for is my dad always taught me the fundamentals of the game at an early age, Obviously took my mom, some side conversation to get me a little more motivated, but I would definitely focus on the fundamentals of the game. And then as a guy gets older and develops, that's when that attitude and that nastiness starts to come out.
Do you get parental critiques today?
Oh, yeah, 100%. My dad called me after the game. He's ready to talk, yeah.
What did he have to say?
He said, there's about 5 or 6 plays you want back, and, other than that, it was pretty solid. I was like, yeah, I can agree with that. There was definitely a couple play stretch there. I definitely wanted back, but, it's the NFL. You're going to get got sometimes, and you just got to roll with the punches.
How do you take criticism from your parents? Is it easy?
I usually take about I need before my dad calls me. I need about 24 hours to be honest with you. But no, I definitely listen to what my dad has to say. He has a lot of football knowledge, so it's definitely listen to him and apply what I can.
Do they ever call separately?
Who, my mom and
Yeah.
dad? Oh yeah, it's definitely separately. My mom usually talks about, if I got a personal foul, you need to be smarter,
Behavior,
tone it back.
decorum,
Yeah,
right,
yeah. My dad's like, it's part of the game. It's part of the game. Sidebar conversation as he's walking into the room because he hears she's on the phone with me. But yeah, no, we definitely usually have separate conversations.
Well, you're going to get everything covered.
Yeah.
That way.
All right, Brock.
Yes, sir.
Larry from McKinney. Now, you're starting to develop a reputation very similar to Conrad.
Oh, easy now. Conrad Dobler?
Conrad Dobler.
You know anything about Conrad Dobler?
I do not.
Okay.
You can't. He's got a reputation. Brock has a reputation for show of hands here in the Sidecar Social. Hold up your hand if you know who Conrad Dobler was. 1, 2, 3, 4 people. Conrad Dobler was an all-pro player, and he played for the Cardinals mostly when they were in St. Louis. But he was also the dirtiest man in football. He was well known in days when, safeties were allowed to carry tire irons to hit receivers coming across the middle. Conrad Dobler would bite. He would, leg whip, the master of the leg whip.
Oh, my God.
And, yeah, he was the dirtiest man in football. Now, you cannot take a guy in his second year in the NFL whose reputation is that he is combative and he will mix it up and compare him to the guy who was the dirtiest man in football. Don't you think that's a little bit of a reach?
I see your point.
Thank you. Thank you. The defense rests.
The direction I was heading to is the reputation that you're going to have will be the mean and nasty, but in a cleaner way where it's acceptable in the NFL.
What are you asking?
Would you accept a nickname like the mean and nasty?
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, I feel like I definitely play the game nasty. I'm not a dirty player. I would never say I'm a dirty player. I definitely push the envelope. But, yeah, I just feel like that's the way the game's got to be played.
Now, what is nasty? How do you define nasty?
When you're going to, you're driving a guy and you put him in the ground and you give him a little extra shove into the ground. That's what I would say.
Who on the offensive line do you feel like gets the most fueled off of you, most fired up?
I would say probably Terrence because I'm beside him.
Really?
But I would also say Tyler Smith. Tyler Smith definitely gets going.
I can see Tyler Smith, absolutely.
See, me too.
Terrence, I'm like,
Terrence is definitely a little quieter, right, like off the field. But no, when we get going on the field, Terrence will mix it up for sure.
Is it your experience that if an offensive line is really going to be good, one of them has got to be that guy. One of them has got to have a real serious edge.
Yeah, I would say. And I just view offensive line play in that way, honestly. That's the way I've always tried to play the game, and I feel like your really good O-lines are definitely maybe not always the best in terms of technique or fundamentals, but they always play really hard and they play physical and nasty for sure.
Has there ever been someone that you've played with on the offensive line where they've kind of been a little soft and you had to give them a little talking to?
Maybe some guys in college,
Yeah.
but not since I've been in the league, honestly. I feel like, whatever group I've been a part of, I feel like guys go for sure.
All right, we got about a minute and a half left, and I don't want to get you in trouble or let any cats out of the bag because you said your girlfriend's here. Are you done with your Christmas shopping?
Yeah, I am for the most part. I got one more gift that's I guess it's gonna be sent digitally, but other than that, yeah.
But you've
I got to wrap.
selected
I
it.
got them all. I got all the gifts at the house. I just got to finish wrapping them. Yeah.
Look, you over there. She over there like, ooh, I want to know what it is.
No, but it's only. I mean, it's not even Christmas Eve. That's
Oh, I got plenty of time.
if
yeah,
you've
we'll
got
make it
them
work.
there. Yeah,
We'll make it work.
and is that? Are you going to do the wrapping yourself?
Yeah, I started wrapping them a little bit this morning. When I saw my presents starting to get stacked into the tree, I was like, man, I got to start wrapping them up and start getting them under there.
What do you typically do for Christmas?
Well, my rookie year I was alone, so that was great. But because my parents were all kind of caught up in that Southwest flight stuff.
Oh,
Remember
my.
that?
Oh,
yeah,
my.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, but last year, Abby flew into town. Now, obviously, now we live together. But yeah, we'll just be hanging out. We'll cook a good dinner, and then
Who cooks?
I will. I will cook for sure. Probably smoke something on the Traeger, and then we'll put on a Christmas movie. Probably The Grinch. That's our go-to.
Do you see why we love Brock Hoffman? Thank Brock for being with us.
Appreciate y'all.
Spending part of his
y'all.
day off with us. Thank you, Brock, and enjoy Christmas. And we'll say good luck in Philadelphia. And Nicole and I will see all of you next Monday on New Year's Victory Monday on our next Cowboys Hour. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Thank you all.
This has been a production of DallasCowboys.com and the Dallas Cowboys Football Club.
How about this, Cowboys?